You can also post on the same group for the 1 hour. Okay. Okay. Let's continue. As we already know that we have to go through 10 lessons, and that two we already covered yesterday, and two we are going to cover today. The topics we covered yesterday is are very basic, like what is variable and what are the basic Python, how it looks like, a one line or two line statements. Okay. Now there are others 5 chapters we have to go. Please mute if you're not have intention to speak. Yeah. And there is a naming identifier we talked about. There are some reserved keywords and there are few words with Python kept it for itself, right? And we should not use it. And how do we use when we create a variable? What are the naming convention we have to give, right? Okay. So these are the things, and these are the four things we should remember when we talk about naming conventions. And there are comment sections with various methods we can comment. Yesterday we have seen by giving uh, different symbols like triple double quotes, and we have done using pound symbol, right? So there are three different way we can provide comments. Okay. And then we understood what is inline comments and block. Let me see, it's still somebody is on not muted. Let me see who is that and mute them. I see everybody mute. Okay. Okay, thanks. Yeah, so what I was saying, yeah, let's continue here. Okay, yeah, so we were talking about how the block and inline comments works. Then we also talk about how to give a particular long lines like 3 lines, 4 lines comments on the top or somewhere using triple three times double quotes, right? These things we have seen, which was only theory and very basics. Today we are going to do the real thing. Okay. And we also understood the importance of indentation, right? Having some space from the upper section so that particular area will be referred that where it belongs. Okay. Okay, somebody is joining, I have to allow them. Yeah, that's what I say, guys, please join on time, not in the middle. It will, I have to approve your entry, and it takes some time. So please try to join on before time or on time. Okay. Yeah. So we already know we have to write code with indentations, right? And then the lesson objects, which we already covered, very base, right? Now we know when we talk about variables, we know what we mean. What we meant is, uh, as a human, we understand different numbers, strings, and many other different things, money and booleans, right? True and false. But as a program, when we write some program or when we learn some language, the language define as certain types that, okay, this is a string, you take this, you create using this, and this will be, I will be treating this particular data as a float, like, you know, 50.20 something, and that your name is like a string. So language itself has defined set of rules to understand data, so it can process well for you. Okay. Now these are the numeric values. We have seen it directly understand numerics. Now you must be wondering yesterday, I was just naming the string, float, integer, and boolean, but where exactly I'm defining them, right? Nowhere I'm mentioning when I'm typing 7, it's just 7, right? And I'm assigning this value to some variable. Now that particular variable will get converted into that particular type. We will see that, okay? So this 7.1 becomes float, right? And 7 becomes integer, right? And your our names or any names, alphabetical names, would becomes a string, right? Okay, let's see this. And these are the integer operations we can perform, right? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, that also we have seen. And two are little advanced, you don't need to worry. Other things you remember, right? Subtraction, multiplication, it's very simple expression, a plus b equal to c, something like that. Okay. Yeah. So string. Yesterday when we were logging out, we also seen the string, how string deal with different operators, and when we do magic multiply by 5, we got magic 5 times. I hope you remember that example. And this is how we can concatenate using plus symbol, two strings together, right? Okay. And then we thought of we will be the programmer, and we need input from customers, users, or some other third party vendors, right? We just write a plus b equal to c, but somebody has to give a and b. Okay, so input is the method to take an particular value from that particular user, whichever we are targeting, right? Let me repeat this on the let's create our oh, it's open from yesterday. Let me open it, Anaconda, so you will also see how exactly I opened. So I'm going to click on this, and this will prompt, or this will pop up. I think I clicked on the wrong one. Wait a second. Yeah, let me click on this. Yeah, and this command shell will do something, and it will launch the Jupyter notebook for me. So that's what I need, right? Today, to create on a new notebook, I'm going to click on new button, and I'm going to click here. Please pay attention, those who are joining this first time. So this is how simply we create a place where we write codes and Python code basically, and we execute them, and that gets saved also, right? Okay, so I'm going to click on here, and notebook is just my recommendable, and I'm recommending this. It's just a suggestion. There are many other tools where we write Python like PyCharms and many other tools, but PyCharm and Jupyter's are famous one. In that, I like Jupyter because code visibility becomes much easy, and maintainability also becomes so easy. Okay, I'm going to click on that. Somebody join or to admit. Okay, so here we are on a new notebook. This is from the scratch, right? So I'll name this as a day two, and I'll share this today with you, this notebook. So once I'll share this, you can also import this notebook and see the examples we have done. Anyway, those examples will be there in the PPT, but in case you want to import, so how to import a notebook or which is written by someone. Okay, here it says open, right? It says open here. You can open and open that particular location, and and open that particular notebook. Okay, anyway. Okay, so let me see. You can copy paste also. Anyway, yeah, let's focus on the learning side. These things anyway you can do. Okay, so now as we know that there are three types of integer, means when we talk about numbers, we say integer, float, and binary, hexadecimal, and octal. What these are that may be new for you.
Hey, why would you want to bite me?
Uh, can you mute? Okay, let me mute you. Okay. If you have a questions, please ping on the chat. Not it will get create disturbance for others. Okay. So let me continue where we were. Yeah. So we are in the day two, and we are talking about numbers. So you already familiar integers 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's in positive and negative. You know that. And float, it's in decimals point, right? 50.20, something like that. But that might be new for you, binary, hexadecimal, and octal. So I will give this small assignment that You learn this from YouTube or videos or Google. What is that binary means? How does binary get converted? How does that hexadecimal get converted? There are simple maths formula behind them. How from a number get converted these, okay? And you may not be using those, but it's always good to have when we are learning some technologies or IT or any languages. We should know the various different types. The machine understand binary. Machine also understand addresses in hexadecimal, in octal numbers, right? So these are not the topics of learning here, but you can explore these three things. What are these things and how exactly they generate, you know, from a basic numbers, right? Okay. So when I say one or two or three machine, this particular operating system, this particular Python does not understand two as a two as we understand. It converts that into a binary or a machine language. Then it understands, oh, it is two. Okay. So you will get good understanding when you will explore these simple basic things. Okay. Now let's talk about Python more. Okay. Yeah. So again, so these are the numbers. 49 is a positive number. Minus, when we put a minus, it's a negative number, right? Now let me show you, and there is no limit. You can see the below example. The below example, we there is this much long integer it can hold. So we don't have a problem with the limitation of how much is the max size of an integer we can give. It can handle. You can see right here, right? Okay. It's a large integer. Okay. Now let's see this on some practical. Okay. So let's say my first integer, I'm assigning 7. Okay. Now I assign this and I print, right? I simply get 7. But how does now I know this is an integer variable or it's a float or it's a, or it's a string. So what I'll do this time, I'll say type my first int. I want to know the type of it. The moment we say type function, we surrounded that. Okay, I hope now you can see visibility is good, right? Okay, so now let's see. Let's try to run it and see whether we get an error or we get something. Sorry. Okay, let me print that out. Sorry. You see, it's by force or in default mechanism of notebook is it will print you out if you don't have a print and the set of statement you have and you want to see that. Okay. So here I'm saying type. I did not mention on the line number 1 what is the type I'm going to decide for this variable. But Python knows the moment you say 7, it understands the 7 is a one of type of the digits, right? Maybe it's a negative, positive, doesn't matter. Now I'm going to say, please pay attention, okay? I'm going to say on the next line, oh, okay, I'm going to say 7.7, okay? Now let's see the type and I'll change the variable name so there won't be a problem for you to do it together. You see, this says it is float. I did not mention here a float. I just want assign something and I want to know the type. And it gives me, oh, this is a float. Python understands this particular variable as a float. Okay, fine. Now, if I say my first name, okay, now I'm going to give some string. Somebody join, let me admit them. Okay, now I'm going to execute this. Okay, see, it says it's a string. Okay, so we can see here, if I decrease little bit size, okay, you can see I have applied a different assignment for a different variables. Please go mute. Frederick, please, can you please go mute? Yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah, so as you can see there are three different ways I have assigned values, and I try to find out what is the data type they have, and I simply see, oh, that this is how Python internally understand. In earlier days, let's say 3 years, 4 years, 5 years before, we used to say something like this. Please pay attention here. We used to say, int my first integer equal to 7. I used to tell C sharp, C, C++, I used to tell that this variable should be a type of int. But Python said you don't need to. You just give me a value, I'll decide. Okay. So all in all other programming languages, you need to decide a data type first, then you assign something. Okay. But in Python, that's not a problem. You just give it, it will take care. It's smart enough. Okay. Let's see. So now you know how to get a type of particular assigned value when it turns out something. When we assign something, it turns out something. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Types of number floating you have seen already, right? Okay. Here there are fixed thing. Okay, fixed thing in the sense when we want to leverage predefined sets of rule globally, we can take few libraries, few classes in consideration. It means we know that pi, when we say pi, right, math.pi is always 3.14. We all know, we have done we will learn little math, at least this much. So these values are constants, all right? So there is a library which we can take help import math, okay? Math in the sense the generics and globally accepted things which will you can utilize just calling the functions define it within itself. So we are saying math.py. It means we are just want some value which is a globally decided, and we the moment we say this we'll get this. If you don't do this, you have to create a variable, you have to assign that like this, and then you have to use it. Instead of that, it says you will never go wrong if you use already a library which is defined by Python. So this is how also we can use a predefined set of things which Python kept it ready for us. Anyway, this is not the time for learning this. We will get one more chance for learn this. Okay. So today's class is more on how we learn if, while, for loop, how do we understand a string, how do we deal with the string. That's my main focus, and we are already 24 minutes and people are still joining. Let me approve them. Okay. Okay, so let's see this. Now we have already seen this float. Let's move on to this binary hexadecimal. As I said, please explore, but few examples are in front of you. These are when we convert 7, this will be the binary, and when we convert, this will be the binary of 2, and this will be for 8. So it happens based on some set of rules of mathematics. Okay, you will understand once you will explore these things. And this is how a hexadecimal looks like. 15, it looks like this. you know it looks like this for 247 76 to write on a smallest shortest way, you see. Okay, an encrypted way also, and the machine understandable way. Okay, but that's not our point. Our point is, in case we have to use or deal with that, what Python is giving us, what Python support we are getting. That's what I put these numbers here. In case you may have to deal, right, there is very less chance that you are dealing with this, but in case. So let me move on. You have three functions: binary, hexadecimal, octal, right? So there are three words: bin, hex, oct. You provide a number, it will convert for you. You provide whatever numbers you want to convert, it will convert for you. You see? So it says you give me a number, I'll convert, and if you have to talk or you have to store in the same way, or maybe you have to deal with some machine thing, then I will help you. So there are three functions which are provided by Python. Function, it means a set of rules into a package where we just need to supply things and it will take care. It will give us the output. Now you must be thinking how it is working. This Python developers who actually created or invented They wrote a very big lines of code to convert your number into binary, but they don't want to show you that code. That's not the thing. You just need to utilize the function name. So we just say function and we get the values, right? This is how we get. Okay. Okay. So okay. Now let's move on the string side. Now we are done with integer, binary, hexa, and something. Now let's talk about little bit on string, and then we quickly jump on the next. So string, as you all know, that it's a alphanumeric. You can also add numerics plus alphabets, but basically, like right now, I'm talking about alphabets, A to Z. Okay. So these are the concatenation example which you see here. 1 minute. Let me admit. Okay. Okay. So the first example is a concatenation example. The second example is multiplied. This we have seen yesterday when we were logging out, right? When you assign some variable a string name and you say multiply 5, it is going to repeat. It's going to iterate that 5 times, whatever numbers you want. So it able to deal with a string when you say multiply, but not all the operators are adjustable or comfortable with the string. Only few. You cannot say -5. Okay. Now the third example is another way of uh, putting things together. Name plus equal to is cool. Plus is nothing but our concatenation symbol. Okay. Equal to is our equal to is our assigning, plus and assigning. Okay. So whatever there in the name, suppose in, oh sorry, so okay, in the name we know that Bob was already there, right? We know the name variable already holds a Bob value in it. So we are saying Bob plus is cool. So this is also we can concatenate or add two things. But the idea here is assigning the value into the same variable. We are not taking two variable. We are not talking about two string. We are saying adding concatenation and putting into the same variable. That's the third example. So it becomes Bob is cool. Okay. Okay. Now let's next. So indexing. This is very important that I will request everyone to pay attention here. Okay. Why it is important? How exactly the Python, when we say, when we give a variable to a string, how exactly store the data. Okay. So if you insert a Python is fun, a string, then how that particular indexing happens? Suppose it may be your name here. It may be I'm good, how are you? Anything into the variable. How does that particular string indexed? Okay. So it start with 0. Okay. 0 to whatever string you are going to pass. Okay. Maybe it's a space. It will also consider as a 1. And okay, 1 minute. Oh, okay. Somebody dropped, I think. Oh, shoes. Okay. Yeah. So I was saying, suppose I'll say my name, Vijay Kashyap, right? Or anything. So starting position is always 0. Okay. Remember that. The starting index positions when we assign something to a variable, the starting position is always 0. Okay. And the end position is nothing but where is whatever the number of length you are going to pass. If you am passing how, then how becomes a 3 characters, right? Then it becomes 0, 1, and 2. That's it. But if you see the other way, Python also says whatever numbers you have, you can also refer that particular address using just the reverse, -13, -12. So the total number was 12 and it starts with -30 and ends with 0. Okay. Here it's not mentioned, but if the end 0 means end here. Okay, so both ways are correct, whichever way you are comfortable. You just need to remember it is start with 0. Okay, so if I'll say ABC, okay, if I'll say ABC, I putting a 3 characters into a variable, then my starting index A sits on a 0 index. Okay, my B character sits on the first index, my C character sits on the second index. This is how C and C++ also store the data. Okay, indexing, please remember this indexing method, it start with 0. Okay, now we are going to utilize this. That's what I was saying. So left to right, it's 0 0, starting from 0. From right to left, it start with -1. See, both way you can get those characters. And why we are discussing this? When we assign something, we need in return something, right? So this is why we need that. Okay. 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 Now let me go to the next slide. I need yes and no. So far till here, are you guys with me? Just yes or no in the chat window. Not, do not unmute yourself. Please put it on yes and no. Yeah, because feedback is required. Maybe, yeah. So that's good. So far, I got good responses. Thank you. Okay. Now let's minute. Okay. Hang on a second. Okay, that makes sense, right? Okay. Yeah. Now I go to the PPT. Okay. Okay. Let's go here. Yeah. So as we just learned, 1 minute. Let me set this. 1 minute, guys. Okay, we're good now. Okay. So why we just learn the indexing is, if once we insert some data, we want to fetch it, right? That's the purpose of storing or inserting data, right? So now we are, when we talk about fetching, how do we fetch, right? So when we assign, let's say we assign this championship, right? Please pay attention here. When we assign this from championship a word into the particular variable, we want from 0 index to the 5. If you see string, that particular variable referring brackets 0 colon 5, it means we need the starting positions till the 5 characters, which is nothing but champ, right? Now if I need from the 5th to the 9, it means it does not consider this 5th position, it means after the 5th. Okay, so see this, where is my, yeah, see this 5th to the 9, 0 1 2 3 4 5th, right? 5th is this I. Okay, let me, you want me to break it down more? I hope you're understanding this. If you say again, I'm counting 0 1 2 3 4. You see, as per the indexing, this is in the 4th position, right? But when you say 0 to 5, what we get? Champ. When you say string 5 to 9, what you get from this? IONS. And how many characters we got? 4. And when we say 5 to 9, how many? It's starting and then not giving the ninth one. Okay, Fine. The same rules apply. You remember reverse, left to right, and right to left. In other way, you can also refer minus 5. Minus 5 is nothing but when you say, or let me put it on the previous slide. Please see, pay attention here now. See, when I'm saying minus 5, what I'm referring? I'm referring to particular positions here. So this is the minus. If I'm referring indexing in a minus, so I know from what I need and what exactly I need. It means you can say the last 5 from the minus 5 to 1 or something, right? The last 5, the last 6, the last 7 from the back side you need, right? And if you need from the this side, you can always refer from left, because if you need a py, suppose two characters, what you will go with the 0 and 1. But if you need something, this one fun, what you will say, minus 3 to minus 1, right? That will becomes more easy for you. So suppose right now this is just having a 12 characters. What else if you have 1000 characters? Then minus or negative indexing will help you, okay, to get the last 4 characters, to get the last 10 characters, last 2 lines, something like that, okay. So I hope this indexing you got little bit. Let's do a practical for that. Where is our day 2? Yeah, here is our day 2. And let me say, what example we have given. Let me refer to the same example. Okay, or maybe the simple one. Let me say ABC, XYZ. Okay, and let me say string. Okay, I need your answers. What I will be getting now? Okay, let me see. Am I muted? I need answers in the chat window if you are listening me. Yeah. Okay. Somebody says ABCY. Somebody says ABC. Okay. Somebody says only AB. Good, good. So we have varieties and people has a different understanding. That is very good point. Okay. At least you are responding. Thank you so much for responding. It means you are paying attention. Okay. Let's quickly see without wasting further time. And let's see this. I'm going to run this. Nobody said this will give error. Okay, maybe you are so optimistic. Okay, see this. What I get? Why? When I say 0, 1, 2, I said that it's not going to consider the third position till third 3. It's not saying until 3. It's saying until you reach 3, what you have, give me that. Okay, so 0, 1, and 2. This goes. But we are saying till 3 means we don't need 3. Till then whatever you have, just give us. So now you got it, what I'm referring, right? Anyway, this is not that much important. You can practice and it will come, no issues. Let's see here. uh, Furthermore, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see this now. That makes your life more easy. When it says, oh, you don't need to worry what is the total characters you have passed, you just tell us from the third characters you need, you need, and you need rest of the string. So when we write something like that, it means from that particular position, which is nothing but b. If you count 0, sorry, if you count 0, 1, 2, and 3, 3 is nothing but starting from the b, right? So when we write something like this, we left it blank. We just say starting position colon and we need everything. It means we need everything after that position till the end. Sometimes you have 250 characters. How do you know you inserted 250 characters? But you want to ignore the starting 5 characters. Then what you do? You say string 5 colon rest of the things, means I need everything. So whatever the string you have, it's going to return for you. You see? Now the reverse. Sometimes you only need the starting part. You only need the starting 5 characters. So how you do? You just leave that blank, the starting in positioning, and you say colon 5 colon 3. From the starting position, you need that particular sets of characters, right? So it does not care how much length of your string you have, it just give you what you want. So now when we say slicing, indexing, now we know what we are talking. When we say starting with 0, we know what it mean now. Okay. Okay, yeah. So length is a very simple function. Uh, Generally, we are doing examples with 1 or 2 words or 5 words, right? But in real world, when we do in our fifth class, when we do our data visualizations, when we do a complex things, we will be dealing with a huge data set, a huge data, or huge number of strings, right? Maybe 10 pages, 20 pages, 50 pages string. Just consider that, okay? In that you want to know the length, what is the total length you have for that particular 5 pages. So len is a function which gives you that particular variable length. Okay, I hope you can remember this very built-in function. It's written by python developers, python programmers. Okay, who created that? Not me. Okay, I'm just telling. Okay. Okay, let's come to this. Strings are mutable. Immutable. What does that mean? It means once we set something to somewhere, we can't change it back. We can't change it back, or we can't do any modification. That's we call immutable. Okay, can't changeable. We can't assign it, we can't modify it. Simple meaning. This is a technical term, and the simple meaning is cannot modify it once it's given. Okay, then how do we do? Suppose we insert, suppose some user inserted his name, but the first character is not the uppercase. Generally we write our first name character of uppercase and we write our name, right? And last name first character is also uppercase, right? But suppose somebody missed it and then we have to modify that. How do we do that? So when the rule says you cannot do that, then there are other ways to do. You cannot do straightforward. Something like this. Name is Bob. The first character you want to change to the capital B. It says no, it will give you error. It says no, 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 you can't do this. Object does not support item assignment. Once you assign something a string, you cannot change it. But there are other ways or workaround. So let's see those. You can assign using equal to operator. Assignment, we also call this assignment operator. Please remember that technical term. Going forwards, we will call equal to operator is nothing but assignment operator. Okay, it basically means assigning. Okay, now we can there is a more functions here. Title in the sense it gives you the first characters in uppercase and other characters in lowercase. Okay, so the title is a function. Wherever we attach this function, this is going to convert that particular string into that particular title case. Fine. Now we know the name is Bob, and when we use the title, it becomes, it becomes like this. But name variable still holds Bob. See, the moment we say title, we are not assigning, we are just printing, referring and adding some additional to that, but we are not assigning into that particular variable. That variable is still hold small bob. Okay. Okay, now here on the third line we are assigning name equal to name dot title. Now that particular capital bob goes and sits into that variable. So python's rule says you cannot change a value, but you can reassign the complete value within it, that particular variable. That's okay, that is okay to do that, but you cannot change on that particular index. Okay, fine. So this is how the alternatives can be, and we should remember this is immutable. Okay, and again this is a technical term. 1 minute. Unmute myself. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So here we comes. No, no, not here. We will come to the demo. I think this demo is not required. Here only title functions. Anything we missed? Length. Yeah, let me show you this. Okay, let me do it here. If I'll take a length. Okay. and I should always change the name so you can refer and practice. You see, this is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's giving me length. When it is giving me length, please remember it does not consider 0. It is start with 1, 1, 2, 3. It may be confusing for you, but as a human, it understands the length functions we have written. We want to know the length, and we as a human, we understand our counting from 1, right? But indexing handles on the Python level. That's a Python job, how they handles. Python handles internally, but length function is written for us. So we as a human, we understand starting 1, right? So it gives us 1, that you have 6 characters in it. If it says 7 or it says 5, if it is considered from 0, it says 5, right? Then we get confused. Oh, it says 5, but I don't know. Oh, it is 0 considering. So it does not create a confusion for you. It's stress. It is straight away given you the integer figure of 6. Fine. Okay, let's move on. And yeah, the title function you can simply practice. Yeah, now this is one of the way when you fit an integer or float variables into that particular string. How do you actually fit in? Okay, so this is one of the way, but I won't recommend this way. When we deal with predefined and we put f, when we have to deal with concatenation with a float variable within the string, so we can put a curly braces and we can put a particular variable here, and when we print this, you see, it will get printed. This variable has 3.4. This variable is here, but I won't recommend this. We have other wonderful methods to concatenations and do a formatting injection when we deal with integer or float in a string. Okay, so I'm going to focus on that. You can ignore that if you are interested. This is the one of the way you can practice. Yeah, this is what I was referring. This is one of the way. This is second way. We are also talk about third way. The second way, it says you want to add some string or maybe anything, or maybe it's a integer, maybe it's a float, we don't know, maybe it's a any variable value, right? How do you fit a particular string inside somewhere? I'm not talking about pre or post, I'm talking in between. You have to place a string, a dynamic string. What is a dynamic string? You're taking a name from the user. You says, what is your name? Then other person says job, James, Bob, or whatever, right? Then we say, oh, how are you, Bob, how are you, this, right? Then we add that and we put that word into our written conversations, right? In the same way, how do we do that? So there is a simple example here. We do formatting, right? So let's format that. Okay. First, understand in fruits we have banana. It means, let's see this example. In one variable, we have one word. Now, this particular one word we have to fit somewhere. To fit somewhere, this is the position we have to fit. Let's see the below position. Okay. In this below position, we have to fit. What we say, that particular string, single quote or double quote, dot format. Format is the keyword where we can inject a string into the another string. But this curly braces will decide or define where that particular variable will go and sit. It will go and sit here. Okay. Like I love bananas. Now let's see a little complex example. Okay. Let's say, yeah. So these two integer variables, age and years, and strings, and let's try to fit this. Okay. First we need two variables, then we need a string, then we need a curly braces. Remember that. Okay. Okay. Come to the here and we'll say age. Let's say 10. And what was the other thing? Name, right? Okay, name. See which I'm not 10 years old, by the way. Okay, let me put it correct way. Okay, so yeah, so we need a string, right? And what we need here, we need my name is this, and my age is this. Okay, oh, okay, fine. Now this is ready. What I planned to place a set of string here. I planned a set of string here, right? This is why I applied a curly braces here. and another curly, open and close curly braces here. What is my intention? I want to fit some variable dynamic value here and then here, right? Okay, now let's do this. String equal to, or I can directly say string dot format. I'll say first I need name, then I said age, right? Let's try. Let's see the errors or we get input. We got, you see now the combination. See, my name is Vijay and my age is 33. Right? Right now you're seeing, oh, you are putting here from a variable. What is the problem? You, why don't you put it here? What is the purpose of giving this into this? Now I'm going to come to that purpose. Okay, see this. Instead of this, if I'll take that particular input from input, please insert your age. Okay, and here I'll say input from the user. I want to take from the user. I'll say please insert your name. Okay, so now let's see this. Let's see whether we get an error for integer or we directly do. Why I'm doing this? Let's see this. Or did I modify this? Yeah, it's a new one, right? Okay, yeah, let's see. Okay, it's asking me some numbers. I'll give 32 this time, and it will give my see, my name is K and my age is 32. It's able to take dynamic. Now we know input function. We have done this yesterday. The input function simply means takes the input, takes the value from the user, and that particular use value we are assigning into a variable. Okay, and these two variables we are using. Okay, how? Using the format, and we have a prepared a string where using curly braces we are trying to fit in. Okay, so format takes an open bracket, whatever curly braces you have, open and close, the same number of variable you have to pass. Okay, okay, so this is how it works, and this is how it makes sense when I talk dynamically. Okay, I'm going very slow today. We have to cover a few more things. Yeah, that's a string format, and yeah, that's the another level is percentage formatting. Okay, what is this percentage formatting? This is the same way how C and C++ guys and C sharp, these are the languages when computers were introduced, so these were the languages were famous from 20 years back, or I should say 29 years, 30 years. Okay, so these languages following some certain methods for integer, float, or something like a specific data type. In the same way, they also do this print. Okay. So just to support those programmers, there are few formattings. If they struggle with this curly braces, they can go with the old approach. So this is for providing support for existing coders, like uh, old programmers or some other language programmers, right? So in this, if you see, instead of dot format, what we are using D. D refers digits, numerics, numbers, right? So when you have something like a number, you refer here is a D. And percentage, it means I want to concatenate or insert that particular string a integer. Space after space, I want to insert a string. Percentage S, then it closes here, it closes here, right? You see this double quotes ends here, after that percentage and open brackets. Now whatever parameters, whatever ds or multiple times ds, whatever number of times you have passed in that particular string, you have to pass the same number of variables. Like if you written three times dds, then you have to provide three values. It means your intention is you want to print, you want to use three variables and want to print it, right? But right now I have two, so I have given d for referring for numbers, s for strings, which is cats is nothing but a string. Now if you see the output, they have three cats, right? So the percentage is also an operator which helps you for the conversion, sorry, for the formatting and putting things together, concatenation with the different float, integer string into the another string, right? So we understand formatting, we understood slicing, we understand indexing, right? Now there are few methods. Now this is more on your side. I will just tell the names and you should understand, you should utilize, okay? Suppose we need a complete capitalizations of the word, then do you see this? Capitalizing means we just use title. Anybody remember in the previous slide we used title? In the same way, what I'm saying, suppose user has inserted uh, something like this, all are in capital. We don't care what user has inserted. We want first letter to be in alphabet, in uppercase, and other letters to be in lowercase, right? Then we use this function. And for the another example, you see there is all are small, and even though it only consider the first letter as a capital. So capitalize is a function. You just need to append and use whatever input string, whatever variables, string variables you want to use it, right? I think now you know when you assign that particular hello into a variable, and then you can use a variable, or directly we are using here. So these simple exercises is your assignments. Whatever's there in the PPT, you should try. You should type that with your hands and you should practice. That's what the assignment I mean, okay? It has a lot of things. It will take 1 hour for you, 1 or 2 hours if you practice using PPT. Okay. Now, in the same way, we have lower in nothing but lowering, putting every characters in the lower cases, right? I think it's very simple. Okay. Upper is, converts everything to the upper cases, right? Then we have start with. What does it do? It checks it checks that whatever particular string I want to check, that particular variable is starting with this or not. Suppose uh, for entering into some secret code, I have defined some set of rules. You have to say 010 and then your name. Okay. Then I should check the starting three characters is 010, whatever user has provided. If I'll see yes, user has provided 010, then I will consider this taking forward for further actions. So starts with is a function which checks the given string starting things are matching or not. You can see Python is matching with py. Python is starting with py. So the condition is true. We haven't learned boolean, but boolean is nothing but a true or false. Okay, true and false. That's it. Okay. So I hope start with function is clear. Practice ends with the same way. Is it the given string is ending with this, right? If it is end with that, it says true. If it is not ending with that particular given string here, then it says false. Okay. Now strip is a very another function which you might be using to cut down that particular characters or a word from the given string. It's a uh, very frequent uses. Okay, we will be using this frequently when we do a data visualizations, or maybe you learn some other courses of data science, machine learning with Python. That time you will be using this lot. Okay, we need that. We will understand later why we need that. We need most of the functions, but this is one of the functions that can help you. We want to cut down something, then we just give that particular string dot strip, and then we say whatever things we want to cut down from the given uh, okay, yeah, from the given string. Okay, I think there is a time. So I will ask for you guys. I think it is hardly another 10 ppts we have to go, so I need another 15 to 15 minutes. So are you guys yes or no? Just give me your yes or no. How many guys are okay to extend for another 15 minutes or no? Otherwise, we'll be lagging tomorrow. Okay, so I see good positive responses. Thank you. I think it's good. So please hold on for another 15 minutes. We'll try to cover up. Yeah. Okay. Okay. In the same way, replace, right? I think replace is a very common word. If you have used Excel, you find something and then you replace, right? These things we should try, and let's try this. This is important. Other functions you can straightforward, you can use them. Okay, let me show the day two and here. Yeah. Let me give a good string quickly. Str, how are you today? Okay, and I want to say str dot replace. I want to replace today with okay. Let's see, did it work or not? Yeah, you see, the line was how are you today, and I replaced today with my name. How are you, K? Something like that, you know. So replace is nothing but find that particular word and replace with this two things. Parameters, now you know parameters means putting or supplying some values for some purpose, right? And putting using comma means separating that parameter values. Okay. Okay, this is how replace works. Okay. Okay, so now let's see. Oh, we already have functions. Functions split. Yeah, split is also one of the wonderful functions that you will be using. Okay, we will learn right now. Just see the purpose of split is dividing something into a comma and return a list. Now what is a list? List is a collection of items, right? It's like your wardrobe, right? You put many things in your wardrobes, you know, your bookshelves, right? Something like that, and you put different varieties with, you know, different box or different separation of that particular wardrobe. In the same way, the list also store the data, and the split is nothing but splitting using a particular word characters alphabets. Let's see. So here, let me put it and show you this example. It will be good, I think. Yeah, let me show you quickly. Str split. I will say hello there, how you doing? Okay, so I have question mark, I have spaces, I have commas. Okay, and then I'm going to use this str. Please see this. Let's see whether it works or not. It works. See this, I mentioned given a string here first, and it has comma, comma, two commas, and the purpose is I want to separate this out using the comma. Wherever there is a comma, separate that out and put this into a different item. Okay, we will learn quickly what is list is, but this is how list looks like. Okay, split function is nothing but help us to divide uh, uh, items or values or string or substrings into a different items, right? Okay, we'll quickly see what is list, and this is how split functions. So the split and replace was very important functions. Please remember and practice using how to use split functions. Okay, fine. Let's see that. Yeah, the count. So count is as the name suggests, you want to count some characters from the given strings. So suppose you want to count from the A, you want to count A from the rows are red, something are blue, and something, all right? Okay, then how many times the A occurs? Okay, if I check here, if I'll check here, right? R, two times A occurred, and it will say the count is 2. If I check the count of E, it's 7. You can practice this, try this, and practice this in your free time. So this is how count function also gives us something. Okay, now these are some escape sequence. And quickly I'll show this demo. Suppose let me show you this challenge, okay? And string, say, I want to say, hey, that's my, hey, that's good, okay? So if you see here, you see a single quote here, right? I want to print like this. I want to print like this. But if I'll do like this, let's see what error we'll get. Please see this. It says invalid syntax here. Why? Because Python is says, oh, I this is my thing. I separate and understand strings as a single quotes within the single quotes. If you say single quote, I understand this is a one string. I don't understand this is another string, right? So how do we print a single quote? Okay, using slash. These are we call escape sequence. Using this, let's try. Now I am able to print this apostrophe or a single quote or whatever you say, right? Something like that. Okay. So these are the sequences where if we need to print double quotes, we use double slash. If we need to print single quote, we use single. If we need to print slash, then we use double slash. Okay. So these are for printing because Python says that these are the words I use. If you still want to print these, please at least use these. Then you can print these. Otherwise, you cannot directly use single quote, double quotes, and slash because I used to do my operations using these things. If you still need that, please use this. So we say escape. Escape means Python is escaping for you. It's not considering its own words. It's considering your words and trying to print for you. Okay, moving forward. Now list is very important concepts, very much important concepts. Here's your next level starts of we are going out of variables and base abc, and we are going to the little understanding little more than the variables. Now if I'll say I have variable integer, I have a string variable, I have float variable, right? So list are aggregator of data. I want to keep four things into one. That's we call list. Okay, lists are similar to string. It's just like a string. It will show you like a string, but it collects data in blocks. Okay, lists are heterogeneous, means you can store in string, float, or many other data types. Okay, lists are also mutable, means we already learned today what is immutable. Now it's saying mutable. It means you can modify lists. That's the biggest advantage using list, not using string. Okay, you can modify that particular index. You remember we try using Bob with the capital B on the zero index and it gives us error, and then we try using title, right? So it says you if you want to do indexing here, you can do, you can get on zero index, you can assign something, insert something. Lists can be yeah, can be linked to a wardrobe. Yeah, you can refer in your wardrobe or shelves, you have a section of blocks and you put things, right? In one block you put coffee mugs, in another block you put photo frames, and something like that. And in another you put your marriage anniversaries dates because you won't remember, something like that. Okay, it was a joke. Don't take it seriously. Okay, so let's see. So these are the lists can be added to other lists. Here we see letters. This is how we create lists. Let's quickly do this. This is how we create letters. Numbers list, we can add both of them and see what comes out. These letters are alphabets, these numbers are integers, but as we said heterogeneous, it accept all kind of things. Okay, and here we put both things together into a one. Okay, now let's see. It can be multiplied. If you say letters multiplied 3, it will print 3 times abc 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 within the list, right? Okay, list can be iterated like numbers. Now if you want to add something, you have abc, you want to add one more character, it takes it. It does not ignore, it does not say error, it takes it, it says okay, give me more, no problem, I'm a list, I can have n numbers of things. You can keep adding. So understanding list is very much important when we deal with the huge data set, when we deal with the data or something like data frame, we will get to know. But this is important concept. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this quickly. A comma B comma C. Okay, and I want to print that out. LST. Oh, something. Oh, sorry. Okay, you see, I forget to provide single code. How Python understands a string? When we give something in the single code, it understand it's a string thing. Okay. Now, uh, let's do even more example. Let's see. I see how easy it is to add something into the list. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this we covered. Yeah. So suppose you have three things, and here the indexing. How the indexing? We already learned indexing, so we want to spend much time on learning zero, starting from the zero position, right? So if I'll say, um, what is three here? One zero apples, one banana, two strawberries, three mangoes, and fourth is pears. If I'll say fruits two, what I will get? If I'll say fruits two, what I'll get in the comment section? If I'll say fruit two, what I'll get? Somebody said, somebody says bananas. Okay, okay. So I think then you guys have to, who said banana, those has to revise the indexing and start with zero. Okay. I just said zero apples, one banana, two strawberries, three mangoes. So two goes with strawberries. Okay. Okay. Then again the same way, the negative indexing can be used. Again, you remember left to right, right to left. You can say minus one. It means you want the last one, right? Then you get a peers. Okay. Good. So this is how indexing, slicing. Now this also we learned. This is why we spend time there. So we don't need to spend now. So when we say slicing, we want to take some slice out of that particular list. Maybe it has 1000 items. What we do for that? We just need some specific five from the 50 to 55. You know, out of 1000, we need 50 to 55, something like that. So in that, how do we do slicing? Same way, open brackets, put indexing, colon, and that's it. Remember here it's saying 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But right, so it's giving you 50. And when I say, you say 4 to 5, it's not including 5. It's till 5. Okay. And before that, right? Okay. So, and another way, the same way we learn string, when we say something like this, it means the rest of the thing, whatever that particular my list has, I need everything from the fifth position. Okay. Okay. So I hope slicing and indexing you understood, and we are done. We have a lot of things tomorrow. I think that's it. I'm just let you talk you through. Let me take you through what we have tomorrow, so that you know you prepare in advance. Functions. There are five different functions: comparisons operators, logical operators. This is very wonderful. We'll do this tomorrow. And then we should have covered lesson 4, but I went very slow today. Uh, and in control statement, we have if whiles is nothing but looping things. We have if statements where we do conditional checks and we perform some actions, and then we decide what block we have to perform. Else if it's just another alternative of if else while. This we are going to learn tomorrow. I'm not skipping it, I'm just telling you what we have for tomorrow. Okay. Then what is the way of learning while loop and how does it works, and while versus if, and then loops. Yeah. So loops is nothing but iterating something, like two tables, two ones are two, two threes are six, something like that. Okay, so that's it for today. तुषार गेट खोल दे बेटा. अच्छा, 1 minute. हाँ. हाँ आंटी जी रहने दो रहने दो रहने दो. Sorry. Uh, Sorry guys, I was speaking to someone else. Somebody came at the door. Yeah, so I was saying we have a lot of things tomorrow. Please join on time. Don't join on the middle, so that you will get good understanding and full understanding. We have another 6 chapters to go. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. And we have a lot of things. Please join on time tomorrow.